Hello and welcome to another episode of the Contractor Grow Show. My name is Mark Lamberth. I'm your host. Today I'm speaking with Benjamin Kimmich at NurtureSource in Berkeley, California. Benjamin, thanks so much for being with us today.
My sincere pleasure. Thanks for having me, Mark.
Yeah, so I'd love to start just by hearing what services you offer for your customers.
Yeah, so NurtureSource is we're a prep for sale company. Basically, we help clients, what we call it, like at the point of sale for their house. So it's really, somebody's ready to sell their house. We typically work with like a lot of real estate agents. They actually are the ones that usually bring us their listings.
Okay.
And so, somebody hasn't remodeled their house in a long time. They want to sell their house. And the agent says, hey, we really need to do some work here in order to get you the best price. So we have kind of a formula developed for that, what to spend money on, what not to spend money on, how to get the best return on investment. Our model typically gets someone at least like a 50% return on the money they invest in their house.
Wow.
And then we also have a number of like lending options if somebody needs to borrow funds in order to get the remodel done. So it's really kind of a complete package for anybody that's, trying to sell their house.
No kidding. That is amazing. So, and that's mainly what you guys do. That's all that you guys do is the kind of prep for sale type projects.
So we do work with buyers. If you're buying a house, there's another kind of the other side of the equation, right? Which is somebody's like, I want to buy a house, but I can't find something that is what I want. A lot of times be like, great, bring us in. We can give you kind of a rough idea of what it costs. Somebody can say, hey, this is the type of house that I want. And they can share like a listing with us. And we say that one probably won't work, or yeah, that's a great idea. Let's work with that one. So we'll also work with buyers and help them get the house they want. If the sellers aren't creating the turnkey product, they probably should.
Yeah, amazing. Okay. How many people do you have on your team right now?
So the company's about 30 people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And then we have like, by extension, obviously we're general contracting firm. So we have lots of vendors that we've been working with for years. And, so we kind of consider them an extension of our team.
Sure. Okay. And you guys are in Berkeley over in the East Bay. What is your kind of footprint? Where do you guys work geographically?
So Berkeley, Oakland, San Francisco is kind of our, go-to. We work in Marin. So yeah, North Bay, as they say. So I'd say North Bay, San Francisco, and East Bay.
Gotcha. Okay. Fascinating. So I've done a fair amount of real estate projects. I also am a builder from back in the past, built a lot of additions to houses and things way back when. And when I've been doing real estate projects, and we've had a team working on things, it's always a huge question of, will this project pay for itself? And, will it even break even, right? So many things are just projects that it's just kind of going sideways, not necessarily making a return or making any kind of money. With you, not necessarily wanting to get into your like secret sauce here, but regarding the formula that you guys have for what projects to focus on to bring the most amount of value in return, what are some ideas around how you guys go about that?
Yeah, it's a great question. There's some easy ones, like kitchens and baths are always, a good place to focus. Paint, floors, landscaping, those are almost always things that are good to invest in. Floor plan is, I think, the thing that a lot of times people miss. And it's especially if it is a prep for sale. A lot of Berkeley houses, there's not an ensuite bath, and there's not a clear primary bath or bedroom. And you got to kind of approach the house with the mind of a buyer. Like, what do they really care about? One of our favorite agents, Mark Hardwick, he's like, you know what? Like, nobody wants to carry laundry up and downstairs. Like, it's not that big of a deal to throw in a second laundry. Like, it's like $5,000. And people walk in, they're like, oh, great, there's laundry downstairs and upstairs. I don't have to be carrying laundry upstairs or downstairs. There's little things like that. Honestly, like, what kind of works for us is we have so many real estate agents that we work with, and they are constantly seeing what's selling and what's working for buyers. What buyers want, largely remains the same, but there are little shifts just in, demographics and stuff like that. So that's the other thing tricky. That's the other tricky thing about us is like, what you do on a little 2-in-1, on Dwight Street is different than what you do on a, 4-bedroom, 3-bath house up in the Berkeley Hills, right? You got to take a slightly different strategy. So you got to really understand who your buyer is, and working with a really good I think sometimes people discount the importance of a real estate agent. A good real estate agent will be a night and day difference. Just how you prepare the house, what kind of ideas they're offering, the collaboration between us and a good real estate agent really kind of allows us to hit some of the home runs that we've had over the years.
Amazing.
Yeah.
What percentage of the business is all referrals versus folks that may just find you guys with your web presence or website?
It's about 90% referrals.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. And then regarding kind of the next few years, I mean, what do you see the future here with NurtureSource? I mean, you guys still, kind of in major growth mode, or you kind of leveled off with your team and have your things really nailed down at the size that you're at now?
So we are shifting a little bit more towards, for a long time, we just worked for clients. Kind of the shift that's been happening over the last 18 months is becoming a little bit more of an investment company. So purchasing our own houses. It's a little tricky. I think sometimes, we really like to create a premium product, a home that's stunning, safe, reliable. And sometimes people prepping their homes are, nervous or anxious to spend the kind of money that it takes to create that product. So what we're really doing is kind of demonstrating for our clients, if you spend the money to make a house, you pick the right house. But if you pick the right house and you do the right strategy, even if it seems like a lot of money, you will make an excellent return. And so we're trying to, basically demonstrate that by doing. So, and it's pretty powerful, when we sit down with a client, we say, hey, this is what we recommend. And they're like, are you sure that's a good idea? And you're like, here's our last 4 investment projects. Each one of them, made 50% on our money or more. One we just did was like 150% on the money we invested in it. Yeah. So, you show people that, they're like, okay, all right, these guys know what they're doing. I can relax. They're not just, yeah.
That is fantastic. I love it. What a cool story. Well, fantastic, Benjamin. If folks are in the Berkeley area, I mean, how would you
right now? San Francisco's hot. If you got a San Francisco hot house, especially if you think that there's any chance that it's selling in the, $3 to $7 million range, there's a shortage in the market in that area. So if you're listening to this podcast and you've got a house that could be potentially worth $3 million or more in San Francisco and you're selling, you should absolutely reach out to us.
That is fantastic. Yeah, I love it, Benjamin.
NurtureSource Homes is our website.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to hear just the best contact details for you guys. What's the best way to get in touch?
Yeah, so come to our website, NurtureSource Homes. That's NurtureOU homes.com. We've got a whole array. You can see a bunch of our projects. It's actually a very nice website. And then there's a schedule an appointment. You can either just schedule a call or you can schedule a visit for us to come out and look at your house. Very easy to set up an appointment. There's also a number there that you can call and talk to myself or Rodell on our sales team. And we're happy to go over, whatever house challenge you're looking at.
Oh, fantastic. Great. We'll get in touch with Benjamin over at NurtureSource Homes in Berkeley. Their website is NurtureSource. I've taken a look at their site and their photos. They've got just a ton of gorgeous portfolio work and absolutely stunning work that they do. Dreamy, beautiful work in Berkeley and surrounding areas. Fantastic. Benjamin, thank you so much for being with us today and sharing the experience of your business so far.
Thank you, Mark. I appreciate you, finding folks like me and, making what we offer accessible to more people in the world. It's great work you're doing. So thank you so much for having me on.